So with fitness coming back, I guess both of you and Chief Counsel, you can go first. Do you see more failures, and then how do you see the Air Force maybe, and this is just your opinion, of course, maybe playing into that, seeing more failures? Because I'll be honest, I just got back in the gym, as Landell said, with COVID and everything like that. And I ain't gonna lie, I didn't want to wear the mask in the gym and everything. So mentally, I'm physically, I'm not as strong as I was maybe a year ago. So if they were to give me a test right now, it might be a no-go, or it might be a fail. Let me write this down. But yeah, so what's your thoughts on maybe if we see more failures, and maybe how the Air Force maybe thinks about seeing this?
I think you may see more failures, but I think in light of what we experienced over the past year, I really believe the respective leadership will work and do what they're supposed to do to help our fellow airmen out who are experiencing failures. You're going to find there's a lot of people, even those who were pretty physically fit before the pandemic, may have some struggles when they take the test again. There's going to be a lot of anxiety surrounding the PT testing.
We don't know, and we speaking for those people that may have gotten COVID, right? We don't know, some people would say it's long-term effects, right? So we don't know internally what type of effects it may have taken on those people. So you can be in there getting to it, Jim, doing your regular routine. But like you said, it's a different ball game when you on that track and somebody's timing you and you like, this decide my fate. You know what I mean? Yes, so they may not have pushing their body to that extent, on a regular basis. So now you're talking about this PT test is a different story.
And honestly, I can't remember who said. No, let me finish this one statement. You hold on there, Master Sergeant. I'm not finished my statement yet.
All right, we'll finish the statement.
You're not gonna make it to the.
We can always come back. We can always come back around.
Let me say. I got.
Go ahead.
Like Shaq said, go 1, 2, 3.
He just the co-host. Go ahead, Chief. He the co-host. Go ahead, Chief.
My bad to my brother Chief Gilbert. My bad, but just let me get this out. I can't remember who said it. This is about a year or two ago. But which leader said this? But we've been fighting wars for years, right? We've gone through this pandemic about a year and a half. Right. And guess what? We still effective.
All right, let me say a little piece, Master Sergeant Select, Pete. So first of all, let's start here.
What's that? Hashtag excuses. Oh man,
had a lot of excuses. So first off the rip, what I totally disagree with is you said now that the PT test is coming back or PT is coming back. PT never left for me, right? But that's just me, right? That just like Chief Counsel said, some people were just busy with life and they weren't able to stick to a routine. Right. So it's up to the NCOs and senior NCOs and the Spartans to start prepping now. We have a long time before it actually comes online. Let's get after it slowly and gradually, not like, hey, let me hit Monster and go smoke a vape and go run. Right. Do it, help them get through that. And I do anticipate a lot of, or Red Bull. I do anticipate a lot of people will have lower scores than probably what they had before. But they need to take that as a challenge to get back into, because just like we got through everything else with the pandemic, we can get through everything else. Right. So that's my 2 cents. And stop making hashtag excuses.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm on day 6. It takes 7 days to make a habit. We got a question that's gonna really flip this conversation. So, Chief Counsel, I'm gonna hit you first with this, and Big Mike, I want you to talk about this as well. He said, planes still fly, still combat effective, job is getting done at a high rate. PT is is unnecessary right now.
No, so this goes back to what I was saying before. I agree with that 100%. However, PT is still important. It's still important. And just like what Chief Gilbert says, being out in an environment like that, an deployed environment, was 120-degree weather. I just came from that. What you need to know is somebody that can sustain operations in that type of environment. The only thing I'm concerned about is that we put so much on the testing piece where it affects promotion and affects people getting separated or ejected out of the military. I've seen some really good folks who are super smart, super talented, and for whatever reason, they could not pass the waist measurement.
Mhm.
And you had people who were superstars, straight super soldiers,
Mhm.
but at the job they were terrible, and they were terrible leaders. But because they were physically fit, they were able to stay around a little longer.
Yeah, he clarified. He said PT is important. He said no doubt. Just the test is not right now. We don't need to be worrying about testing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it was the first test was LOR from the flight, the supervisor level. Second flight, third stripe going, fourth you're at the Air Force.
Mhm.
But there will be more grace because I think like DC was saying, General Brown and Chief Bass, they're trying to get us slowly back there.
Yeah.
So that it's not a shock to the face once we get back there. So
yeah.
I really want. Oh, go ahead. I want you to speak on this.
Nah, I mean, I couldn't say it any better. I agree 100%. I think we just need to walk into it, because like I said, we went through some things a lot of us, nobody experienced before, with this whole COVID shutdown. And then you trying to, gyms were in the position they were in. And then, it was a lot of difference to it. So it's not just a light switch thing. But I do go ahead.
I think everybody should be mandatory to take a mock PT test before the actual thing starts. So if it starts in July, I mean, we're already in May, but June, everybody.
I wonder who's the best person to do that.
What's that?
I wonder who the best people equipped at the squadron level.
Man, there's so many cases where early in my career, I've seen individuals with multiple profiles, like 5 or 6 profiles, where they couldn't take a test.
Mhm.
And then you peel back the onion and you say, well, they could have been took a test by now, right?
Right.
And then I've seen people with same scenario, and they've had some real major medical issues,
Mhm.
and they can take it, because the idea is especially in a lot of career fields, but I can only speak to the defenders piece. You see a lot of defenders with some injuries, and they just want to get back out there.
Right.
They for instance, they'll have they had an Achilles tendon issue or something,
Mhm.
and they know they can't run it. They get out there, they push through it anyway. I've seen people on the track run, and they get an injury, and they still run, and then they fail. And we say, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't want to go? Nobody didn't want to be.
Right.
And the consequence major. Not only did they fail, but now they aggravated their injury even more.
Yep.
And I don't think that's what we're trying to do
Right.
in this organization. We're not. We want people to not only be physically fit while they're serving, but be able to do that when they get out too at the same time. It does you no good if you're in a wheelchair when you transition out of the air.
100%.
Chief Gilbert, I see you getting in out there running miles and miles and miles on a daily basis. Is that just self-motivation, or where does that come from? Or is that something you planned on before?
I'll be honest with you, that's a good question. So when I first joined the Air Force, I was running my PT test in 8:30, 8:15. And I'm 42 now. I'm not 22 anymore. So again, when I talk to folks here and they're like, hey, I want you to be my mentor. I want you to give me advice on look at my records. And I ask, well, why do you want to look at your records? Again, it's all stuff from beyond the Air Force, right? I'm over 20 years. I could retire any day, right? Like Mike was saying, this chapter will come to an end. You cannot go past 30 years, right?
Right.
I need to be there for my kids. My kids are 4 and 2. Even if I did 30 years, my kids will still be young as heck. And this is going to be running around. I need to be able to run around with my kids.
Point of this is get out there and get fit.
Yeah, get to it.
Yeah, get out there and get fit. Stop hashtag excuses, right?
No, I'm get fit for life. Not for the Air Force is the byproduct, but for life,
Got you.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, don't take this the wrong way. I think the main thing to get from this is to make sure you are good to go when it comes to your mental and physical fitness, not just for the Air Force. If you do it for life, everything else will fall into line.
Yep.
Because if you're doing it because of your job, you already lose.
I appreciate both of you guys being on here. I'm be honest with the listeners and be honest with everybody. We impromptu the hell out of this thing. And shout out Chief Gilbert and Chief Counsel, because we really just hit them up and say, well, this is what we want to talk about. You guys want to get on and talk about it. And both of them just absolutely. And here we are.
Yes, sir.
And there was no script involved in this. So all their opinions were impromptu. All the questions, of course, are impromptu. And I appreciate you guys for being on here. Really, really do. And giving your human and professional opinion behind it. And for you, Chief Gilbert, I know what you're gonna say. The same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, I knew you were gonna say it. As soon as I said it, I said, "Fudge."
Yeah,
he's gonna get me.
It never is. But what I would say in a nutshell is that it's a great depiction of true leadership when you tell somebody 24/7, 365. You know, because it was just a text and a question, and it was an answer. That was that. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So first, thanks for inviting me to this podcast. Much appreciated. Always a pleasure building with some fine professionals and my fellow chief over there that's deployed. Always a pleasure building with him too as well. Last thing I will leave you with, just a couple of things. One, do not spend your time judging your success next to someone else's. I think she's a CMSgt, Tiffany Brown, man. She's an Andrews. I think Chief Gilbert may know her. I love the fact she always posts something. She says, run your race. And then trust the process, jump on the Sixers bandwagon. Sixers, NBA championship this year. Billy, stand up. Billy, stand
Yo, I'm starting to think you have to be bald head to be a chief.
Yeah, that's basically it. So you better get on board.
So again, appreciate the opportunity to get on here. So honestly, like this is why I think I exist in the Air Force, right? To have these regular conversations, because that's all they are.
Right.
And we learn from each other. And whatever doesn't make sense to you, put it to the side, right? So I want to take a quote from DC where he talked about Senior Master Sergeant Tiffany Brown. I was the first sergeant with her, and she would always post, run your own race at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, there'd be times I didn't want to run and she'd do it, and it just motivates. So shout out to my first sergeant, Alicia Valenzuela. A lot of times when I post, it's because I'm proud of myself, because even though I ran 2 miles the other day, I was happy that I did it because it's hot out here.
Yeah.
But it's also motivational because I see somebody else do it. I'm like, it's a reminder, because nobody's here physically to tell me, hey, go run. So you got to help each other out there. And I think the biggest takeaway from today's conversation, or one of the biggest ones, is, mentally, physically, everything needs to be, you need to think long-term, long game, grandkids, great-grandfather, great-grandmother. I need to be around that long. So the choices you make now will affect that. The uniform's going to come off one day, and I need to look back and say, hey, I finished my career successfully, and now chapter 2 started, and I can go body slam my son. Got to be able to do that. And again, I just appreciate the opportunity. No matter what time it is, because it's already 23, 28 here, I will make time to get on these types of forums, because this is where I make my money, I think.
Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, you got it. You heard it best, man.
Yeah.
2 goats. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we definitely appreciate it. I ain't taking nothing away from their closing comments. Nah. That's all I got. Unpopular celebrities, y'all know who it is. Y'all know where we at. Y'all know where we will always be.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, go ahead and check out the website, unpopularcelebrities.com. We'll be updating it soon. Go and check out the podcast. You guys can listen to all this conversation right back, including our other ones. Check out Chief Counsel. He had a conversation in the very, very first one that we had. He has a conversation in there that we had about his life as an NCO. That was real good. And then, of course, we just had one with Chief Gilbert, which was our very first Zoom one that we had. So we appreciate both of y'all. I can't say it enough. And yeah, we'll talk some more.
Always.
Yeah, I can't say enough.
Be safe, fellas.
Yep.
Chief.
Yep.
Be good out there. Send me one of them. Give me one of them hookahs made. Send me one out here. I'm give you my address. All right. My dog.
We out of here.
Peace.
All right, y'all.